Hello and welcome to this channel. Today we are going to discuss about the user data functions in Fabric, how we can develop, test, debug them locally in VS Code. Initial setup, you need to install the Visual Studio Code and you need to install some extensions like Microsoft Fabric extension, Fabric user data functions extension, Python extension, and obviously you need an active Microsoft Fabric account to deploy them, and the suggested Python version is 3.11. You can create them even in the latest version like 3.1113 and 3.12, but the suggested version is 3.11. So if you came across an issue, you should use 3.11. And you also need to install Azure Function Code Tools V4 extensions because Fabric user data functions need that in case you are going to do some debugging simulation. So for that purpose, we also need Azure Function Call Tools extension. Let's see a demo. So we have created a new folder, UDF VS Code folder, and first we will do the initial setup here. So we will just type Fabric. Now you can see Microsoft Fabric is coming here, and we will just install it. Okay, then we will install user data function extension, install it. Now in my case, core function tools are already installed because I was creating a lot of Azure functions previously, so I will not install them, but yeah, you need to install that in case you're doing it first time. And Python again, and everything is already installed. So what I will do, I will now show you how we can create them locally. So first you have to go to the Fabric extension. This is the icon for Microsoft Fabric, and you need to sign in. It will take some time. Okay, in my case I've already signed in, so it's showing the uh, various workspaces I have in the Fabric. So let's create a user data function inside functions workspace. Click on plus, and we have to select the user data functions, and we will give it a name like test vs code. Press enter. Currently only Python language is supported, so we will choose Python, and we will say open in current window. So it's creating. Okay, right. So now it will create the structure. Okay, now few things are interesting. I just wait for some time. Fine. Now it will create a sample function app.py file with a default function. Okay, nothing but welcome to a function, and it's just printing the name, okay, which we are passing while calling it. Now similar to Azure function, it will have a host.json file, okay, where we'll mention the bundle and etc. We have a local settings file. So those who are familiar with Azure functions, they're already aware we need to have this setting so that we can test them locally. And there is a Fabric library. Yeah, so it has nothing but it has the metadata. Okay, and then fun ignore and git ignore files, when you are staging them to the version control, maybe in doing in the GitHub or something. Okay, now what we will do, we already have a function here. Okay, and if you go to requirement.txt, it has fabric user data functions 1.0 already there. So in case you want to use any other Python packages libraries, you can mention here, and then you can like I will again use requests. Okay, and I'm using the request here, and we'll save this file. Now first what I will do, let's create a, sorry, first let's run it. It's failing because we don't have virtual environment. So let's create virtual environment first. Okay, right. So what we will do, we will go to view, we will open the terminal. Right. So let's create a new virtual environment with the name .venv. Okay, so currently it's creating a new virtual environment. You can see here. Okay, now what we will do next, we will activate this virtual environment first, and then okay, right, now we will activate. So we will give, right, so we are inside the virtual environment now. Now what we will do, we will install the file. So we will say pip install requirement dot text. Okay, so it's reading the contents of requirement dot text and installing everything. First the fabric related functions and then the request module. Time what we will do, we have this function, so we will create another function here. Okay, let's create another function, UDF dot function. We have to use this, and then we can say call API, and it will return basically a dictionary. Right, so how we can, again we know, so we need to give import request because we are going to use the request library here. And we will say cat, and we will give the API endpoint shortly, and then we will return the dictionary. Basically how we can return dictionary is just give JSON here. Okay, now we need to give API endpoint here, so let's go there. Okay, so we will again use a endpoint. This time let's see for addresses. Right, so we will use this endpoint in our testing. Sorry. Okay, now if response dot status code equal to 200, then we will return else we will return error, and error will be response dot status code. Okay, that's fine. So basically it has two functions here. One is the default function, another we have created the call API one. Okay, let's save it. Sorry, I missed that colon. Okay, again save. Right, so we already have everything here now. Let's try to run it once. So we will go here and we will say run without debugging. Now, one thing important about these functions, there's the default method. I mean, the only method which is available is post method. Okay, okay, asking me to. Now, we got four endpoints here, right? Call API, hello fabric, get UDF OI specification. These are nothing but the JSON and the YAML specification of the API. We will see in the future tutorial how we can use them. Okay, uh, I mean this function, and then we will invoke the call API function. So okay, we will give post, and we will just mention that it's JSON. Okay, now if I invoke it, it's giving 500 internal server error. Okay, what can be the reason for this? Okay, so there is no JSON data. Yeah, we forget to provide the data here because it's expecting a, so we will just mention, and this name we will give name, and then we will say testing one. Let's click on send. Okay, so we get the output. Welcome to Fabric functions. Testing one at this. As we can see, it's returning welcome to Fabric function. Name, we have passed testing one, and then at the current time stamp. Okay, so this one is working fine. Now let's invoke the other function. We have call API function. So we can copy the endpoint from here, or it's just a small change. Okay, so let's just right. So as you can see, it's returning output status okay, seed data, and this is nothing but the API content of the address figure API, which is returning a address content. Fine. Now, so we are done with this. Now what I want to show you, I want to show you even how we can debug. So for debugging, let's just close this. So we will just say Control C, and then one press any key, we are coming out. Okay, now we are again back to the terminal, and now for debugging, we will go to run, and we will click on start debugging. So we need to put a breakpoint here. So click the right click and then add inline breakpoint. Okay, now we have put a breakpoint here. You can also use the command func hoc start, just like Azure function. Okay, again asking me to sign in, Fabric account. Okay, fine. So you can see that has started running. Okay, and now I have put that breakpoint here. What else I will do, I want to show you the proper debugging. So I will just add to watch, so that, okay, so I will add the watch. Now so we will use the call API function here because we have put the breakpoint here, and we will say run. The control has reached here, right? Okay, now you can see here it's you're getting a name here. That's fine. So what we will do, we will just run it. Okay, now response dot status code. As you can see, this is the response. Where is the response? Yeah, hope you can see here response and the text both. And then we will again step out so that it will execute. Great. So we got the output, a dictionary basically, similar to the previous case. You can see. Okay. And once we are done, we will just disconnect. Okay. Press any key just to come out. So we have now seen how we can run, how we can debug the user data function in VS Code. Now what we will do, we will deploy this function. Okay, so what you can do here, you go to Fabric. Our function is test VS Code. We will deploy now. We will click on, so you can see this icon. We just click here, and it's currently getting published. Okay, so something like which I don't like currently. You can see that the request is submitted successfully, but you won't get anything in much in output here. That's fine. I am sure they will improve as we go further. And let's see on Fabric. So we have created the user function inside functions workspace, and test VS Code has been deployed successfully. Now, how it come a UI? That's so you can see this is the original file we have. Oh, it's yeah, it just there was some delay. That's why you got this, but we didn't anything any UI. It all handled by the local VS Code editor. Okay, so you can see here two functions has been created, as you can see here. And then if you go to library management, okay, now public and private library you can see. The request is a I will just run it. So I will test and I will give test here. It takes some time, okay, because it's uh, starting up the front and background. Yeah, so we got it right, succeeded, and we get the same data. Okay, so I think that's all for today. A few things are interesting. Like, don't think they are equally powerful as Azure functions. I will make a separate video where I will compare how user data functions are different from Azure functions in Azure. Okay, or the Fab function app. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you like my content, and have a nice day. Thank you.